Commissioner McKenzie?
Ms. Cannon.
Commissioner McKenzie votes for Ms. Cannon. Commissioner Broyles?
Staples.
Commissioner Broyles votes for Mr. Staples. Commissioner Norman?
Mr. Fugate.
Commissioner Norman votes for Mr. Fugate. Commissioner Ormby?
I'm going to pass right now because I still haven't made up my mind.
Commissioner Ormby passes. Commissioner Briggs?
Fugate.
Commissioner Briggs votes for Mr. Fugate. Commissioner Anders?
Staples.
Commissioner Anders votes for Mr. Staples. Commissioner Smith?
Diana Ray.
Commissioner Smith votes for Ms. Ray. Commissioner Wright?
Mr. Fugate.
Commissioner Wright votes for Mr. Fugate. Commissioner Brown?
Staples.
Commissioner Brown votes for Mr. Staples. Commissioner Hammond?
Fugate.
Commissioner Hammond votes for Mr. Fugate. Commissioner Schaus?
Searle.
Commissioner Schaus votes for Ms. Searle.
Oh, we got pass. Pass, wish to vote?
Yes, Ms. Morrison.
Ms. Dorsey.
Commissioner Ormby votes for Ms. Dorsey.
So the rules for
All right, Mr. Fugate has 4. Staples has 3. Ms. Cannon has 1. Ms. Ray has 1. Ms. Searle has 1. Ms. Dorsey has 1. And those 4 fall off. Those 4 fall off. And so we'll have Staples and Fugate. Commissioner Brown, you have something?
Am I on?
There's somebody's lights on.
It's his staff.
It's his staff.
It's my intern.
District 1. Starting to vote in District 1 again, please. Staples and Fugate.
Commissioner McKenzie?
Staples.
Commissioner McKenzie votes for Mr. Staples. Commissioner Broyles?
Staples.
Commissioner Broyles votes for Commissioner for Mr. Staples. Commissioner Norman?
Mr. Fugate.
Commissioner Norman votes for Mr. Fugate. Commissioner Ormby?
Fugate.
Commissioner Ormby votes for Mr. Fugate. Commissioner Briggs?
Fugate.
Commissioner Briggs votes for Mr. Fugate. Commissioner Anders?
Staples.
Commissioner Anders votes for Mr. Staples. Commissioner Smith?
Fugate.
Commissioner Smith votes for Mr. Fugate. Commissioner Wright?
Mr. Fugate.
Commissioner Wright votes for Mr. Fugate. Commissioner Brown?
Staples.
Commissioner Brown votes for Mr. Staples. Commissioner Hammond?
Fugate.
Commissioner Hammond votes for Mr. Fugate. Commissioner Schaus?
Fugate.
Commissioner Schaus votes for Mr. Fugate.
All right. Mr. Fugate has 7 votes. Mr. Staples has 4 votes. Mr. Fugate is the appointed, or is to be placed in the resolution. So we'll go ahead and read the resolution. I'm sorry, Commissioner McKenzie, you have something?
I'll wait till resolution.
Okay. Okay, okay, Mr. Fugate's name is added into the resolution. Is there a motion?
Motion to approve.
Is there a second? We have a motion and a second. Commissioner McKenzie.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. You know, we did a lot of talk today. Good talk, I feel. A good conversation about how we've grown as a commission. I don't think this is a good vote in terms of in that spirit. I think this is a political vote, and that's unfortunate. I think this vote is beyond the second district, is beyond the service of what we're trying to do and what we're trying to accomplish in this county. and I know I'm stepping on toes, and I'll step on them. You can step on mine as well. But this is politics at its, you know, it's transparent, but this is we talk about education. We talk about, you know, we throw the stones where we throw the stones, and we cross the hall, and, you know, AJ building, make it come down. This is the same thing. You know, this is bad. Hopefully, and I'll say this, hopefully folks are listening. Hopefully the people of North Knoxville are seeing what's going on here, and they say, we're not going to be a part of this in a couple of months.
Commissioner Brawls.
I'm just going to add to that by saying that I had not wanted to point this out, but I think that I've been forced to. The one person who I did not receive any phone calls or emails in support of from any member of or any resident of the 2nd District was Mr. Fugate. He had no support within the 2nd District from any resident of the 2nd District. And Mr. Staples had overwhelming support. Sam's right, this is a political vote. I'm tremendously disappointed. This is what I've seen here today with the appointment of both our judicial magistrate as well as the appointment of our 2nd District new Board of Education member is Black Wednesday all over again. That's exactly what it is. I am ashamed of this commission, especially after talking about how far we've come and how much better we are than we were. This is a tremendous disappointment, and frankly, it's a slap in the face to every resident of the 2nd District who have made their wishes clear about who they want representing them for the next 3 months. And I am tremendously disappointed. Tremendously disappointed. This should not be about anyone's personal political agenda. This should not be about the Good Old Boys Network. This should not be about anything other than who the 2nd District wants representing them. And I am tremendously disappointed. Tremendously disappointed.
Commissioner Norman.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. It looked like to me, in terms of what happened today, this became kind of an issue between or the decision was between Mr. Fugate and Mr. Staples. I thought Mr. Staples was a wonderful candidate. In fact, I wish I could speak half as well as you do and as well as you present yourself, Mr. Staples. You're truly gifted. Ms. Boyles castigated us at the workshop for the fix. I have no idea what the fix is, and I do not have the slightest idea what she's talking about, some kind of network. I'm not involved in the network. If there is a network, I simply made my decision based on the information that I had through 2 interview sessions and through speaking to people in the district and speaking to people outside the district who are attuned to this issue. That's as simple as that. I made the best decision I could, and frankly, I resent any kind of indication that there's some kind of fix. That is absolutely wrong and rude. Thank you.
Commissioner Wright.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Tremendously disappointed would maybe be calm in what I have to say also. Amy, I can't call you to tell you who I'm going to vote for, and I have several people that are still standing in the audience that are mad at me because I wouldn't tell them who I was going to vote for because I didn't know until today. To say that no one in the 2nd District wanted Mr. Fugate to be appointed to the Board of Education on its face is false because he lives in the 2nd District, and just as a couple of other candidates called me, he called me. And I have talked to all of them. I've been to all of the interviews. I've been to the public meetings. I have not been hanging around the courthouse. In fact, I didn't even know we were challenged to the cold water thing, because I've got more significant things taking place in my life right now than to make sure that I'm in agreement with all of the people that work out of this building. So maybe you might want to look back at the recording of what has happened so far today and take it in a different light, and that if you want to say it's political because I didn't agree with you, you can say that. But if we want to say it's political because that's the way it is, well, that's just the way this particular vote fell out, because people in the 2nd District did call me.
Commissioner Smith.
I just want to point out, too, that, the dynamics of the 2nd District have greatly changed a lot, too. It now goes over the other side of 640. You have a lot of people there. You look out in the audience, you got several people that are running for that office that are on the north side of 640. I voted for somebody that I thought had a fresh idea, and I was impressed with that. I know Mr. Fugate, see him in the community, work with him in the community on several things. I voted for him, and Amy, he supported my opponent twice, gave money to my opponent twice, but I still felt that given the job, he would do a good job and do it from the outside, from a business standpoint, and he's got education background too. This gentleman sitting out here, I was impressed with him too. Just like what we said, guys, we had some great people running. I don't think there's a bad one in the bunch. But I just want to remind you that the 2nd District dynamics have changed quite a bit.
Commissioner Hammond.
Mr. Chairman, I wanted to explain my vote and why I voted the way that I did, and I think I expressed to everyone the night of the forum that I was extremely impressed with the people who had put themselves forward for this position, and I believe that to be true. I think we had some really solid individuals, and it's not easy to put your name out there. But I did not speak to anyone on this body about how I was going to vote or who I was going to vote for. I did get a couple of emails from different folks for a variety of people, but I never spoke to anyone personally about how I was going to vote, and most of you know that I don't do that anyway. But my reason for voting for Mr. Fugate was certainly not political. I voted for who I thought would do a good job, or the best job, and I had considered all of the other candidates and their credentials. And when I looked at Mr. Fugate's credentials, the fact that he has a Master's of Education from ETSU, his major is Administration and Supervision, he has certification for Superintendent of Schools, he has been a principal and a coach in the Claiborne County Schools, the Hancock County Schools. His BS is from ETSU. He has a major in secondary education, certification in health and physical education. But I also wanted to find out about the involvement in the community. And when I heard all of the candidates, and they were all involved, but when I saw that Mr. Fugate was involved with the Calvary Baptist Church, he has a Bible study fellowship, he's a board member of the Beck Cultural Center, he's on the Fountain City Business and Professional Association, Beaverbrook Country Club, Farm Bureau, and he's a volunteer at Knox Area Rescue Ministries. And it goes on and on and on. He's very involved in the schools through Shannondale as a foundation member there. That's why I voted the way I voted. And any notion that I voted on anything that would be closely associated with Black Wednesday, come on. I mean, I voted for who I thought was the best candidate, and there were good candidates. And I'm not saying they weren't, but I voted for the person that I reviewed all of the resumes, went to the forums, and I made my own decision. And so anyone who says that I colluded with anyone on this body are not telling the truth.
Mr. Brown.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I would just like to say that I didn't come here to this meeting today prepared to vote the way I did. But I respect each of you all's districts. I respect the knowledge that you have of your districts. And based on Ms. Broyles' address before she made the nomination, that's when I changed my vote. So I don't see anything even resembling in any way Black Wednesday. Like I said, that wasn't my first vote.
Commissioner Wright.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I glanced back at my notes, and the very first thing that I had written down, I forgot to say something about. Mr. Staples called me, and we personally spoke on the phone. I appreciate his conversation, and I thought we had a good conversation. I told him specifically, I appreciate him putting his name out there and taking advantage of an opportunity to work in his community. It just didn't turn out that way today, but you're still a good guy.
Mr. McKenzie.
Yeah, I did not want to go so far as to compare this with Black Wednesday, because I don't think it gets anywhere near that. But I do think we're entering a very dangerous season and trend. Just to be blunt and blatant, there are forces at play trying to be the puppet master within Knox County. Do I think folks are talking to other commissioners? No, but I think we all know who want to be the puppet masters, and I do think the puppet masters were at play in this process. I hope as we move forward into the next commission, the next generation, that we will continue to take steps, not only toward a more transparent, continued more transparent process. We made significant strides in that regard. But I would also hope that this partisan, one thing I know, I'll say it now because he's about elected. Commissioner Briggs and I said when we first came on, we're not about the D and the R and all that. We're about Knox County. But more and more, we're trending toward this just wall building. And there's some folks that are trying to build walls up. And that's a shame. That's a shame. And, and I'll tell you, they tried to do it in the first district, past election, unsuccessfully. This is an attempt to do the same thing. You guys are probably doomed that process for the puppet masters. So I would just ask us going forward, let's be about building Knox County. This isn't about a fight. This isn't about an argument. No one wants to fight. No one wants an argument. I don't. I really don't. But when I see things that are just flat out wrong, I'm not going to sit here and hold my peace. This was wrong, and I think we all know that the puppet masters were at play in this particular vote.
Mr. Chairman?
No.
Vote's been taken.
Yeah, but I'm going to let Ms. Broyles speak, and I'm going to end it.
Enough,
Commissioner Broyles, yeah.
Vote has not been taken. You need to call for the question. We have rights unless you call for the question.
Yeah.
Thank you. No, I didn't see any sunshine meetings, and I'm not suggesting that there was any collusion behind closed doors, but I think what Sam said was exactly correct, and that's what we did see on Black Wednesday, was people who wanted to be puppet masters pulling strings, and I think that's what we've seen here. I would ask each of you, if this were your district, would you want your fellow commissioners to come in and think that they know more about your district than you do? Or that they know best for the members of your district than they know for themselves? Now, there's no doubt in my mind who my district preferred. And there's no doubt in my mind who had the least amount of support within the 2nd District. And yet, this is where we are. And as regards to Black Wednesday, my reference to that is that was another day where wishes of particular districts were not taken into account because there were people behind the scenes pulling strings. So I'm certainly not accusing anyone of breaking the Sunshine Law or anything like that, but this is not good process. And frankly, this commission, up until this point, has had a very good track record of making appointments and keeping political agendas, personal political agendas out of it. So again, I am very disappointed that the wishes of the people of the 2nd District were not respected here today.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Nay. 2 noes. The motion passes. I am supposed to announce